Hi guys, I'm Babs, and I break down AI concepts into understandable bits that help you implement it in your personal life and also at work. And today I will be talking about why most organizations get the AI journey wrong. I will start by explaining that organizations are filled up with people, and people at scale just only scale human behavior. In particular, something like FOMO, so the fear of missing out. While individuals suffer or have to deal with FOMO, organizations also do it, and a lot of times at a larger scale. Case in point, AI. About 3 years ago, the watershed moment with AI happened, and I like to articulate it as ChatGPT democratizing artificial intelligence to almost any and everyone. That was a very great moment. And after that, there's been a lot on the AI journey. Organizations, of course, have bought into the hype. And I say hype not because there is no actual value in AI, but because a lot of times organizations just chase what is hot or what is in fashion. And that often leads to mistakes because as opposed to paying attention and understanding what something means for you as an individual or an organization, you just chase the noise, pay for licenses, new tools, and say that you're AI powered. A lot of companies made this very big mistake, and a lot of them lost a lot of money. Matter of fact, some companies already, because the narrative was AI is going to do a lot of people's jobs, had already let go a number of employees. A lot of companies already did it before realizing that the current version of AI that we had was nowhere close to replacing people. And that brings me back to just giving you a better and a well-rounded approach with respect to how organizations at scale should approach the AI transformation. Organizations typically need to understand their current states and understand what this technology is. So they either should hire consultants like myself or like the bigger consulting firms, which I like to clown and say sometimes all they have is big names, or at least hire consultants who understand what this technology is, who have spent time understanding what the technology is, what the technology with respect to workflow looks like, and with respect to people, policy, compliance, and all the important pillars for larger organizations. This ideally should be the first step. Some organizations have these individuals or group of individuals in-house, individuals who can sit down, get resources and understand the technology. Maybe spin up AI labs for innovation without rushing to implement it or force it into some of their product offerings. When this is done, it's a discovery type of session where you understand exactly all the services and offerings, where the organization is, and all the important things that in a strategy session you get to come out with. When you understand these elements, the next thing you do is you start to look for the critical parts of the company that might align to this technology first. You're not in a hurry to just immediately force it or whatever the case is. And you're not also rushing to just say, oh, we have X tool or Y tool. I don't want to bash any tool. You also don't just want to rush and pay for enterprise licenses for ChatGPT, because when you carry out the first step, which is the distilling, the understanding of everything and what it means, you understand things like data privacy, client information, and those sensitive things that might be uncontrollable with your employees or associates typing privileged information or company restricted information into third-party platforms like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, or anything else there's there. And when this is put in place, governance and guardrails are some of the other things that need to happen. So you pull your compliance guys in, and they also have to understand what this technology is, what the guardrails are, what the risks are, and they start to work on compliance. Understanding this plays a huge part, because outside of you just building your own solution or paying for a third-party solution, These elements are very important, and organizations tend to rush head first because, like I started by stating, they FOMO into things and they don't want to get left behind. One financial firm hears that the next financial firm is already adopting AI or implementing AI, and they just want to get the next thing and get that tool. We also need to do that without understanding what it means for and to them. So what we do at Mind Meets Model is we try to get a full understanding of your organization or your department, your unit as is. That is always the start. Let's understand it, what you do. We interview different associates in different key roles to understand what things are today and how things are being done today. Let's not just plaster or stamp an AI tool or whatever the case on things and say that we're AI ready. AI has to deliver true value. And it's better for you to sit back and plan it right, understand it right for a whole year, and then design it right, versus jumping in head first and then realizing, oh, we just leaked out client information on a third-party platform, and you can't undo that. So a lot of times that is typically where we often start. And once we understand that, we get the key people in the room to help us flesh out the current state. This might be workflow and also the strategy to proceed in. Not all companies want to use the ChatGPTs, the Geminis, the Claudes. Some companies are very skeptical, hesitant, and highly regulated that they don't want to touch any AI model that is controlled by anybody outside the premises. So for some of these organizations, they spin up their own local instances and they know that they're local. The data is not going anywhere. It's not touching the internet. They have end-to-end control on these open source models. And sometimes it's a healthy place to start. You get some of your technology folks. You find the people who are the most adjacent to, let's say, AI engineering, or you hire. It's okay in those transitionary phases or those discovery phases to try to spend the resources that matter in the places that matter versus in places that don't matter. And when you hire a firm that understands what they're doing and they walk you through this session, they explain to you the use cases of when open source versus closed source are better ideas, or whatever the tooling stack is, then you start to understand what are the right tools that we need to pay for. What are the tools that make us more efficient? What are the tools that reduce our cycle time or lead time drastically? If something took about 10 plus days, is there any way with AI we can get it down to a few hours? Those are the critical pieces that give business leaders and group heads major ROI on what they do. Unfortunately, with the hype, many organizations had to go out first, learn, and by learn, I mean make costly mistakes and then pull back when this could have been how they started. AI transformations are going to be a massive thing. A number of organizations are already on this path where they are trying to be very intentional with respect to what the AI journey is going to look like for their organizations. And in addition, they are hiring consultants, or they have like AI enablement offices with associates that hopefully know what they're doing and are fleshing out what this journey and this transformation are going to be. Sometimes it comes to prioritizing parts of the organization that go first versus others, the safest parts, the most critical parts, or whatever the case is. And as with agile methodology, you start with a thin slice and you test it out and see how it's working, and you see exactly what that looks like. Developers are using Claude Code, for example, but it's like, do you have compliance rules internally as to how you guys leverage Claude? These are a lot of the conversations that need to happen versus just blindly embarking on taking on tools without thoroughly knowing how you get the value from the tools. So if you're an organization that is yet to embark on your journey, or you're about to embark on it, you're in the early stages and you're looking for gray hands that can get you that artifact, that output of, this is exactly what you need to be looking at to embark on this journey, and we've fleshed it out, I will say feel free to reach out to Mind Meets Model, because this is exactly what we do. We help organizations understand where they are today in order to fully feel free to embark on their AI journeys tomorrow. Once again, subscribe to my channel if you like this content. Subscribe, please like, comment, and share with somebody or a number of people that you feel that this will benefit. It's a new channel, so we're trying to grow it, but comment, give feedback, and I'll be glad to respond accordingly.